Well, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to do something really simple. Uh, this will be for the beginners again. And what we're going to do, we're going to make a leaded glass floral nightlight. And so we're going to just draw it up here on our paper. We have a brass nightlight stand with a hole for the light. The light system here just goes up underneath it here. You can find these at all kinds of different stores. A lot of glass houses carry them and so forth. And you can find some that are made of plastic, some are made of wood. So there's a whole bunch of different kinds of these. So this is just called a hexagon fan lamp base. And what we're going to do with that, in the middle here, we're going to put this pretty little pink one with a pocket in it. Here our flowers are going to come out of here. We're going to kind of build this on a fan basis. I don't know. I got something in mind, so we'll start to draw it as we go right here, and we'll go from there. So we're going to use this. We're going to use a couple little pink ones maybe on the side somewhere. So we'll go ahead and get started on this. We are going to make a pattern because across the top here, I'm going to make this with a arch going down. So I want to have some way to cut that so it's nice and smooth. So we got our usual tools here. We got a little T-square, we got a ruler, pencil, got an eraser. So we're going to start right here at this bottom line right here. And what we're going to do first, though, we're going to start, I've got a piece of pattern paper underneath here. So I've got this top sheet hinged. So I'm going to just take our carbon paper right here and just set it in here. And I'm going to bring this top sheet down that we're going to draw on. And I'm going to take a piece of masking tape and I'm going to tape it right here at the bottom so that it doesn't move on us. All right, just like that. So we're going to border this in some iridescent, ripply looking glass. So I think what we're going to do is start right here at the bottom. And I think we're going to come up about a ½ inch. That'll give us a start for our frame right here. So we're going to come up here a ½ inch. And I'm just going to draw these lines long because I don't know where I'm going with this yet. So we'll make that a ½ inch right there. This will be the base of our project right here. This will be where we're going to quit. So now I think I'm going to make the base about 3 inches. So this will be like 1.5. It'll be the middle here. So we'll pull this up right here. So let's mark that right here. Well, I want to see here. I want to mark it right here. We'll mark it right here at 1.5 and 3 inches. So then I'm going to take this and I'm just going to draw a couple really light lines right now. So we're kind of designing this on the fly, so we really haven't got a real plan for this. In here now is where this is going to go. So this is going to start right here. So let's measure that. That's 2 1/4. So 1 1/8 would be the half of it. So let's pick and divide this up here. 2 1/4. Okay, so this will be where our center section is going to go. So we'll draw a couple lines down for it. So our center section is going to go in here like this. And we're going to stop right here. So I'll just put a little line right there. We'll come up here at the top. We'll get lined up on it. Come across like that. Okay, so this is 3 inches here. Up here, I think we're going to go to like 5.5. So 5.5 would be 2.5 1/4. So it'd be 2 3/4. So we'll mark it right here. 5.5 right here. And from there, I'm just going to take my ruler. This will give us our little fan. Take our ruler, mark it right here. Run it up there. Come over here to this corner, mark it right there, right there. That gives us our fan shape now. This section in here, I want to make this arch go over here, and we're going to use a real sophisticated system. We're going to bring our pie pan into play here, and I'm going to just push it up here, and I'm going to line it up right where these corners are right here, like right there and right there. And then I'm going to just take and make an arch over here. Like I said on some of my other videos, there's all kinds of stuff around the house or around your shop, wherever you're building these projects. And you can use a lot of things to create your system. In here, I'm going to put a couple of these little pink ones here. These are just a couple of little scrap pieces I have left over. So we'll put those right there. I think we'll come down to maybe about 1.5 inches or so. Let's come down 1.5 inches. I think that'll be a nice size. So they're going to go right here and right here. And let's measure them. Let's see what they are. They're about 1 5/8 inches. So we'll come down here 1 5/8 inches. And that's just where we'll make them stop, right here. Here again, this is a real simple one. This is going to be for beginners or somebody who just wants to play with a project like this. Right here, we're going to run this piece of glass all the way across the bottom here. You know what? I don't think we will. I think we'll make this come down here like this. This is kind of the fun part about designing your own things. You can just do whatever you want to with them. So this line here, we don't need this line here. So we'll just take it out so we don't get confused. It's probably going to show up on our pattern, but we won't cut it out when we cut it out. And again, like my other projects, this is going to be a cut and stack one. So we're going to cut this pattern out when we get done with it, just like we did with just regular pair of scissors. So if it starts to grow out a little bit, we don't really care. So what we're going to do now, we are going to make some up angles here. So put some little lines right here. So we'll be able to make sure that our glass is going the right direction. This just makes the job a little bit nicer if you keep everything going the right direction. And if you don't put some arrows on it, you'll lose track of which piece goes where or how it goes up and down. So we'll just put some little points on it here. We'll mark it up. Like I said before, this is a real simple one, so we don't have a lot of pieces for it. So we'll go ahead. This piece here, I'm going to make this all one piece right here. So we'll take this out of here too. So this crown across the top will just be one piece that we'll cut, and we'll bring it on down here. These are going to be solid in here. We don't need anything in here. So we'll just start down here. We'll number this number 1. We'll make this number 2. Make him number 5, 6, number 8. And of course, this will be number 9. It's already in the middle. So anyway, that'll be our pattern. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and we'll just roll this back. And there's our little pattern pieces right here for our project. It's got our arrows on it here. I should have marked those probably. So anyway, when we cut our glass, we'll go ahead and cut it. And when I talk about the direction of the glass, see this glass here? See how the grain of the glass is running up? So if we put these all up, they'll look really nice on our project. Here again, these little pieces that we're going to put on the side here, they're running up too. If I turn them sideways, they don't look quite as nice. So always try to, if you have enough glass, try to keep it directionally. And then when we run our iridescent glass out here, we'll run it all the same direction too. So it'll look like a nice little project. So I'm going to go offline real quick. We'll cut these pattern pieces up. Then we'll come back and we'll mount this drawing right here on our build board here. And then we'll go ahead and get ready to make it. So we'll be back in a minute and we'll get ready to put this together. Well, we're back already, and I've changed my mind on what I want to do on this. Uh, there's something missing when I look at this real quickly, and what I've decided is missing is that it needs a border around here, something to kind of hold this all together. Right now, if I just take and cut an arch right here and put it on, it kind of seems kind of lost. So we're going to come in here. We're going to add a 1/2 inch border all the way around it, and we're going to do the border in this pinkish white. It matches our center section here, so that'll look good. And we'll, in these spots here, we'll go ahead and put a piece of this in there also. So I want to let you show you what we're going to do here. So since we're going to make this a 1/2 inch bigger, I have my little ruler here. It's actually a piece of angle aluminum. One side's a 1/2 inch thick, the other side's 3/4. So we're going to make it a 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to set this in here like this, right up against this, right here. And I'm going to just take and draw a down line here. And then I'm going to go over here and do the same thing. This is here again is one of the nice things about cut and stack. You can just do whatever you want to as you move along. Okay, so across here now, we want to make this a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to make just a little mark right here. And now we're going to get our pie tin in here again. You know what? That's not going to work. The pie, we need to mark it over here. I'm sorry. Because I need two points to put my pie tin here. I really think I want to put, yeah, that'll work. Okay, so we'll take our pie tin right here. We'll line up on that point and that point right there. And then we're going to come all the way around here. So that'll make our arch. Now here, I want to break this up right here in the middle. And so I'm just going to come out here and measure this right here. This is 1 5/8. So it's going to be a 1/2 and 5/16. Here's our 1/2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/16 is right here. So right there. So I'm just going to use my square here to give me a straight edge. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to mark this right here and right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to also, I'm going to bring this circle right here. I'm going to bring it on around too. So that'll kind of tie this all together. Otherwise, it's just kind of out here in no man's land here if you just quit right here. So I've already marked up our pattern piece here. So I just went ahead and put some arrows on it for direction and also numbered it. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get this cut up, and then we'll come back here and we'll start to build on here. I just wanted to let you know, I'll come back in here and darken this up with our felt tip pin. This represents where the cane will go, the lead cane. So we'll be back in a minute, but I just want to show you what we're going to do. We're going to change this up a little bit. So we'll be right back. All right, we're back here. So we've got all our new lines in here. We've taken, used our felt tip pin here. We've darkened them all up. So this is how the outside border is going to look here. So now we're going to put a form in here, something to build up against and something to build down here. So we'll start in this corner and build this out. So I'm just going to use this small wood that we've used on all the other projects. This is just 3/4 inch pine. It's been put in on a table saw with a gate set at 1/4 inch and just ripped through. So we're going to take and we're going to set this right in here, just like this. I'm going to use some little brads to tack this down. If you don't put some kind of form here to work with, your project will get all out of whack. So make sure you put something down to keep it square. All right, we got our back one on here now. So this one here, we're just going to come in here just like this. Going to line it right up here on the line, just like this. And we'll take and tack that down. So this gives us a perimeter to build with. And we'll start from here and build out with it. So otherwise you won't have something to keep shape with it. All right. So I'll cut a couple pieces of U-came that comes down here and it goes across here. And this U-came here will go all the way out here, and I'll leave it stick out here about 1/4 of an inch. So when we make this together, we'll trim it off, and we'll finish up the edges when I get to the end of this. So anyway, we're going to cut some U-came to come down here. I'll go ahead and cut this piece while I'm working on it. In fact, if we want to, we could go ahead and we could put a piece over here also and kind of create a form. So we could do that. So let's just do that. That way it gives you a perimeter. So we're going to build inside this. So we're going to bring this right here. Make sure it's lined up straight. Like I said before, if you don't have any way to make some little form pieces like this, if you've got, you don't want to let that happen though. See that go away here. We want to stay on our line here. So pull that out. We'll just pull that out and start over. When you're doing this, if you have something that gets messed up a little bit, don't just go ahead and say, "Oh, that's close enough. It'll work out." Take it apart and start over, because this is the whole basis for this to work. And if you don't get it lined up properly right from the get-go, the whole thing will be kind of out of whack, and you'll be unhappy with the end result when you get it all done. So we'll try this again here. There we go. Now you see I got just a teeny bit of white line up here, so I want to maintain that. So see if I can do this without letting it move this time. There we go. So it's important that you get this laid in here straight, because like I said, if you don't, then when you start to build it, it'll go all crazy on you. Okay, so there's our perimeter. I realize that not everybody has capability to create a pocket by fusing it like this one's been fused. If you want to try to make this project and you don't have any capability of fusing it, or you don't have anybody that you can get to fuse it for you, look at the leaded glass floral display for the wall. It's a little blue one. It's about it's about an hour long or so. Anyway, take a look at that one. It shows you how to make a pocket that you don't have to fuse. You make it by using some layers of glass underneath it, and you epoxy them to it. And when it's in place, you can't tell whether it's been fused or it's just been glued on there. The epoxy will hold the pocket perfect for you, and it holds it so tight that if you wanted to try to get the pocket off there, you'd break the glass before you got it off. So that's another alternative. But in our case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the pocket that's fused here. And then our flowers will come out of here. And we'll probably not load this up with a whole bunch of flowers, but just enough. So anyway, we're going to go offline. We'll cut some lead here, and maybe we'll cut some little border pieces here to get started. And then when I come back, we'll start to put this together. So I'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back here just for a minute. I want to show you a couple things. One, we cut our lead here for down and across here. So this is the lead that's been cut on a 45-degree angle. So this one here goes in here, And this will be the bottom of our project right here. And I'm going to take a pin right here and I'm going to pin it so it doesn't get away from us. And then this one here, cut on a 45, fits right in here like this. So that gives us our outside perimeter for our project. Now the glass is going to run down here is this one right here. I've taken our pattern pieces and I put them on here upside down because you want to cut on the smooth side of the glass. If I put the pattern on here right side up, this would be more difficult to cut on this Ripley side. So I'll go offline and cut these here right where I've got them jointed, and then we'll put them back in. And the reason they're put like this is I want this to be a continuous piece of glass, because when you hold it up to light, if you put if you don't do that, you'll end up with one that's maybe got a real dark area on it and then it goes real light, and it doesn't make your job look really good. So if you can do that, it's nice to have them going the same way. And here's the other side here. So I'll go offline. I'm going to cut those really quick, and then we'll come back in and we'll set them in here. And then we're going to get a piece of H-came to go on each side of it. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to put our centerpiece in here. We'll make a piece of H-came go up here and here, and we'll cut our little piece to go right here. And then we'll fill this in. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're back here. We got some pieces cut up now. So here's our two border pieces right here. So I'm going to show you how they put those in. So you take your border piece, this is number 10 right here, and you set it inside your U-came here. Be sure you get it pushed down into here. If it's not in there, it'll give you a phony reading, and then you're going to end up with it cutting it too short. So it goes right here. And then we have a little piece of H-came right here that goes in here. Make sure you got that up right side up. This is cut on an angle here, so that fits right there. And then this will fit right here, just like that. Now I'm going to take a little piece of our old U-came, stick it in here, and we'll get a little pin here, and we're going to hold that with that. We're using the old U-came to keep the pin away from our glass, because otherwise you're liable to chip the glass. A lot of times if that happens, you won't notice it until it's all done, and then when you hang it up, you'll see a big chip out of it. So over on this side, we're going to do the same thing. Put it in here. Make sure you get it up in this U-came here. There we go. Got a little piece right here. There we go. Make sure it gets back in where it's supposed to go. Put your little H-came here. And we'll stick this one in here. So now I'm going to take a piece of H-came. This is the one that makes the letter H. We've talked about this before. So it's going to go in here like this. And that'll lock that up. I've left a little bit of room right here for our H-came to go on the top. So we'll just take here, and now we can just take and pin this. Just like this. Come over here now, I'll take this one out of here. And I've cut this. You notice I've cut this on an angle, and I've cut this on an angle here because this is coming down here. If you don't do that, if you just run a square edge into here, then you're going to have a big soldering gap there that you're going to have to solder up, and you don't want to have the gaps. So cut it on an angle to match that. So anyway, that'll get us started there. Then what we're going to do, we're going to cut these pieces right here, and then we're going to put up a couple of pieces of H-came here. This one here will go in here like this. We'll have a piece of H-came across here, like that. And then this piece here will go in here. And so the project is moving along pretty quickly. There's not very many pieces in it, so it's pretty simple. So that'll go in there like that. Get it pushed over where it's supposed to go. And then we'll go ahead and we'll fill this all in. We'll put our crown on here, and then we'll take and we'll run our border piece across the top. So I've got all the pieces mounted on our glass here. Remember here again, this is a Ripley. You can't cut it on that side very accurately. So we've turned all of our pattern pieces upside down. I remarked the arrows and the numbers on them so we'll know who goes where. So that when it's actually cut, for instance, 2 right now would appear to be upside down, but when we turn it over, it'll fit in here because now it's going the right direction. So that's just one of those things you want to remember when you start to put your pattern down. Don't actually put it down with the pattern side up, because it'll be on the wrong side. You might be able to get away with it on this job because you could all take this same piece and switch it over here since they're supposedly the same size. So we'll go from there. So we'll be back in a little while. We'll get these pieces cut up, and then we'll take and we'll run that up there. Then we're going to take some H-came. We'll run up beside it here, and we'll go from there. This is our pieces for across the top. I've got those cut, so they'll go like that. So we'll put that in here, and then we'll wrap it around here. Using the pie pan here, because we've changed the radius on it, it's a little bit tighter here than it is up here. I haven't decided whether I'll take and grind this back to match here or not, or just leave it, let it go up a little bit. It doesn't look bad, so I might just leave it get a little bit wider here at the top. So when we get back, we'll go ahead and get these pieces in here, and then we'll get this set up here, then we'll fill the rest of this in. So we'll be back in a minute. All right, well, we're back. We got all our pieces cut up now. So now we're going to show you how we're going to put this together. So we're going to start right down here in this corner right here, and we're going to take this little one right here, put it up into the H-came, and then slide it down. Be sure you get it back into the U-came right here so it'll fit tight. Then we have a little piece of H-came cut here. This is cut on an angle right here, so when it goes in here, it fits in here tight, just like that. And then we'll put our little pink one in here, put it right up here. Then we have another piece of H-came here again, cut on an angle, so it'll come in here tight. And then we have our iridescent glass to go right here. So we'll take and put that right there. We'll take a piece of old U-came right here, and we'll put it in here, just like that, just to push down on this to hold that in there tight. And we have our down piece of H-came right here, so that'll go right here. And we'll come over on this other side. We'll do the same thing here. Going to put this right in there. Here again, this is cut on an angle, so it'll fit in here tight. Going to put this one right there. Be sure you get the angle going the right way, otherwise it'll leave a big gap. Make sure it's always up against the channel inside here so you don't have one that's going to be sticking out. We'll put another piece of U-came right here. Pin it real good. Take our other piece of down came right here. And this one here is going to go down here in the bottom, and if we've done this right, this should fit in here. It does. Here again, make sure it gets up into your U-came here. We have a piece of H-came to go across here, and then we're going to put our pocket in here. So the pocket goes in the channels. Get that out of the way. Pull it down flat here. That fits down there good. That looks good. So we'll take this out now. And we've got this piece of H-came here. Now you see it's got angles cut on two sides here because it's going to go in here. I'm sorry, it's going to go in here like this because it's going to match up to this arch going around the side here. So we'll just pin this real quick and take a look at it. So this is going to end up right here. So this piece of H-came here is going to go up around here. So we'll take our glass here and we're going to insert it right in here. Make sure it's down where you want it. Okay, so it should be sticking over here. And then you're going to put in your H-came here. Again, both sides have an angle on them, so they'll fit in here tight. Pull that around, and that traps that in there, just like that. So when you're cutting all these pieces, take your time. Make sure you grind them so they fit nice and tight and they fit where you want them. Uh, we've said this before, and we'll say it again over and over and over. It's not a race, so take your time, get the pieces to fit in here properly, so that when you put it together, it'll come out properly. Otherwise, you'll get something going all crazy, and you'll wonder what heck. All right, we're back. We got our two top pieces cut up here, so they'll fit where we want them. I decided I didn't like the way it kind of crowned here at the top, so I went ahead and ground this back to pretty much a 1/2 inch all the way around. So this piece here is going to go right in here, goes inside your H came, is going to slide around to here. Make sure you get it into the U came here. We'll take a little piece of U came here and stick it in here. This one here is going to go in here. Make sure it's into our H came right here. We're going to have a little piece of H came coming down right here in the middle, like that. And now we're going to wrap our U came around the top here. And I pre-bent this a little bit. So we're going to come in here. So you can see this is going to have to be cut on an angle right here. So we'll take our dikes and we'll cut this back on an angle. So when it comes down, it'll fit in here like we want it. So we'll just take this like this. And we're going to set it right in here. Pull this around. Obviously, this is going to be too long. So now I'm going to do the same as we've done before. I'm going to cut it a little bit long intentionally. And then I'll keep cutting it down a little bit until we get back to where it'll fit nice and tight. Because here again, you don't want to have any big gaps in here, because when you go to solder, that really creates a problem, and you'll end up with not a very good looking solder joint. So let's set that in here. Okay, it still looks like it's going to be a little bit big. About to where that line is, it's going to be about right. So just keep cutting it back just a little bit. That's a little bit too long. See where it's making a bubble right here? It's got the right idea. It's just a little bit too long. So we don't want to have this hump right here. So you can push this back out of here. So it just needs a little bit more, not much. Make sure I get this on the right angle. Okay, let's try it again here. There, it went in nice and smooth. Okay, so we got it where we want it here now. Take our little block of wood here, push this around. Make sure it fits in here nice and tight. Okay, then what we're going to do is kind of come up here and pin this. This needs to be moved out just a little bit right here. There we go. If you see a little hump like right there, take your pen and mark this like that. Take and pull this back out again. Let's look at that. It looks like maybe this has got a little high spot in it right there. So we'll take a look at it. Yeah, it's right here. So let's and I'll just move over on the grinder really quick and just knock that off real quick. I'll be right back. So anyway, we'll come over the grinder here. All right, so I just ground it down just a very, very little bit, just to kind of smooth that out a little bit. Set it back in here now. You know, I think this is still just a little bit too long. There you go. All right, now we'll pin it back in here. All right, so here's our project. So what I'm going to do now, so I'll go offline. I'll get my soldering iron plugged in. We'll get it heated up. These ends right here, what we're going to do with those, we're going to do like we did before. We're going to cut them off about a 1/4 inch high. We'll cut them to a point and we'll fill this in. And so when we get done with this, we'll take it on some 80 grit sandpaper. We'll sand them all down and you won't even see where the joints are at. So it's coming out very nice. I think it's going to make a really nice little nightlight. We'll put our flowers in here and arrange that. And so we'll be back in a minute. We'll get the soldering iron fired up and we'll go ahead and show you how we're going to solder this up. And then we'll move forward. All right, we're back with our soldering iron now. We got it all heated up. So if you've watched me solder before, you'll see that I'm using a stainless steel brush here to go over the joints here to keep any oil or fingerprints or any oxidation off the lead so you get a nice even flow. We're using a Waller 100, has a 700-degree tip on it. This is the iron that we've used for all of our projects. So what I usually do though, before we solder, even though its tip is set for 700 degrees, if you have a line voltage or something spike on it and the temperature were to go up, I usually take an old piece of U-came here and I just take and run my iron over it to make sure that it doesn't have a heat spike in it. If it has a heat spike in it, it'll go right through the lead there, and then that messes up your project. So you have to kind of re-lead it or start over. So we want to avoid that. So we'll just take and we're going to start right here, and we'll just take and give our joints a little shining up here. So this is a fun, easy job to do. Probably the most difficult part of it was probably cutting these inside curves here. If you're new at it, that might be a little bit of a challenge. Fitting this right here, that's a little bit tricky because you're bringing in a couple of different angles. But if you just take your time, you can work it out. Normally what I do is I use a liquid flux. Come in here, we're just going to flux the whole thing up here. And we'll get it all together here. And on these little jobs here, rather than hold the whole roll of solder, this is a 60-40 that I like to use. It melts a little bit lower temperature than the 50-50, so it works well. And normally what I do is I pull off a 10-12 inch length like this, and I like to take and bring my iron up. I like to just tin it just a little bit. And then I like to hold my soldering iron flat and just take off a little bit off the top here, just like that. Once it starts to go, try to make just do about the same amount on each of them. Try to get them all to look pretty much the same. Makes your job look just a little bit nicer. So we just keep moving along here. And when you're soldering, keep an eye on that you get everybody soldered here. If you have one like this, it's not quite as nice as bead. Just put just a little bit more solder on it and let it come up, and it'll work out together. This one right here, where you have an intersection where you got all these coming together, just put your solder right here and do about 1/8 of an inch off the top here, and you can do all of them at the same time. Here again, hold it here, about 1/8 of an inch of solder. Just get them all done at the same time. And like I've said before too, soldering is one of those things, just takes a while to get used to it. If you're brand new at this and you want to practice your soldering, just take a bunch of old junk H-came and stack it up against something and take and test and just practice soldering the joints together as you go along. That's a good place to start. It works out pretty well. I'm going to take a paper towel here and just kind of knock off a little bit of our flux on our job. So we can pull out our pens now. Take a quick look at our project here. So this is how our project's going to look. It's going to come out really nice. I'm going to go offline and solder up the back. You don't need to watch me do that. But before we do that, we've got this pocket right here. I want to show you how we're going to get around that. And if you watch my other videos, you'll notice I've got a box here, and the box has got a hole in it. So I just take it, and we'll just take and lay this like this. So now the pocket is down in this hole. So when I solder this, I won't have an issue with it wanting to let the unit or the project slide over. And so anyway, we'll be back in a second here. I'll get this soldered up, and then we'll go ahead and we'll trim off these ends, fill in these ends here, and we'll be ready to put some flowers in it, and we'll put it on a nightstand, and we'll light it up and get a couple pictures of it. So we're back in a minute. All right, we're back. We got everything all soldered up now. So here's how it came out. Here's our front side here. Here's our back side. So now we've got this problem right here. We need to do something with these corners. And what we're going to do with them, we're going to take our lead shears and we're going to come down in here and we're going to cut this on a point. Just like that. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to bend it over into this open area right here, which will close that up. This may be just a little bit long. I'm going to just take this on the side of my workbench and push that over. So it looks like this. See how we've closed this gap up now instead of having this big hole in here? This one here, we'll do the same thing. Going to come in here like this. Trim this here and here. Cut in here. Just take the tip off this. Push it down. Now, we're going to take our project and we're going to put it in my drill vise here. You've seen me use this before. Here again, when you tighten this up, don't go crazy with it because you don't want to break your glass. I'm going to set this on a little bit of an angle like this. Here's the area we're going to solder right here. So I'm going to put flux on both of these, one here and here. And I'm just going to take my iron and it's going to fill this in right here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take this offline and I'm going to put it on some 80 grit sandpaper and I'll contour it to match the rest of our curve here. So we'll turn this around, set it in here. I already fluxed this one here, so I just solder it up. If you don't do that, you got a big square hole in here, and so it's a little bit harder to solder. You can still solder it. It's just not quite as easy as doing that. And it gives you a nice finish on it. Okay, on this end here now, we've got a couple areas here that we want to close up. They're pretty nice and tight right now. We could probably almost get away with that one, but we'll go ahead and do it anyway. We'll just add just a little bit of solder on it, and then we'll close it up right here and then over here. This just gives your work a finished look. Just put it like here, and then right here, just a little tiny open area right here. We're just going to solder it up there. There, just like that. Okay, so I'm going to go offline. I'll take and sand these down, and I'm going to go and I'll wash it all up. And then when we come back, we'll stick some artificial flowers in here, and we'll get ready to put it on a stand and light it up. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so we got all our edges taken care of here. Now you see how I moved these all around, rounded them down here, went down here in the end and removed it. Took and washed it all up. I just washed this up with some water in a bucket with some about 4 or 5 drops of Dawn liquid dishwasher soap. It makes them really shine pretty. So we'll go ahead. I'll get my wife to help me, and we'll put some artificial flowers in here. And then we'll put it on our fan stand, and we'll light it up, and we'll take a look at our project. So I hope you've followed along on this. If you got any questions, subscribe to my channel, and if you send me a reply or a comment, I will answer you back to answer any questions you may have on this. This is pretty much for a beginner, other than the pocket. And like I said before, if you have no way to fuse this, if you don't have any access to a kiln, you can do that. You can do one like we did on the Floral hanger that goes on the wall. It's a small blue one, where we made this with strips of glass, and we epoxied a front on it. So that came out very nice. When it's on the wall, you can't tell that it's had something done like that. So anyway, we'll be back in a minute, and we'll have some flowers in it, and then we'll light it up, and we'll be the end of the project. All right, we've got our project all done. I have it here on the kitchen counter, so I want to let you look at it. This is what it's going to look like in the daylight, and so it came out really, really nice. You could also just put a hanger on the back of this. You could use this as a static wall hanging one also. So you kind of get double your money on this deal. So I hope you followed along in the video, and hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, subscribe to my channel, and send me a comment. I'll send you back a reply as soon as I can. So here's what it's going to look like when it goes totally dark. So it gives you a really nice effect, and I think you'll be really pleased with the project. So give it a try, and we'll see you on the next video.